Hello everyone, I'm Dwayne, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a requested tone on the Quad Cortex, and it's going to be Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden, which is an absolute classic of a track. And I don't think I've really done any kind of like classic metal-y type stuff, to be honest, so this is exciting for me. And I did some research before I hit the record button, so I did find out they're using a JCM800, and as we know, we have a JCM800 model on the Quad Cortex, so I think this is going to be fun. The song is probably going to have, a couple of distinct sort of tones. There's a clean tone in there, obviously at the beginning, but then it kind of gets a little bit heavier for the verse chorusy parts, and I don't really know how to play the song either, so it's gonna be an interesting video, I think. So we're just gonna get straight into it. I've got Cortex Control open here, and I know the intro is we want a nice clean tone, but we're just going to quickly listen to the song.
I'm waiting in my cold cell when the
He's got such a good voice. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with our clean intro, and then I'm going to put a noise gate on there, of course. It's the first thing I do. We're going to try and use the Marshall JCM800 for this, for our clean tone, and then for our heavier tone, we're also going to probably use the JCM800 as well. So we're going to use a 412 Marshall cabinet because they're Marshall guys, that's what they use. And you'll hear this is probably too much gain, I can tell. Too much gain. What we're going to do is, before we do any of that, I also know it's a clean tone, and you can obviously hear there is a compressor on there. There's no doubt about it. And I'm going to use the Boss compressor for this. I'm going to leave settings as is for the moment, but we are going to touch those eventually. So this is still, so pardon my sloppy playing. One thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to knock this gain down substantially. I'm thinking like, I think maybe one. Maybe we might even have to do a little bit more. Okay, so we've lost a lot of the character of the amp. Maybe 3. To me sounds a little bit better, but I can also hear that we want warmth but not overwhelming bass, so we're going to knock that down to about 4.5, maybe 4. We're going to bump the mid up a little bit just to kind of give it a full mid-range to add some body, but we don't want to overpower it. Now, the one thing that's very important here is we want quite a bit of treble because we want the clarity and presence because it's a clean tone. So if we hear this, it's going to dramatically change the character of it. I think we might need to put the presence down a little bit too, actually. You know, we only want subtle brightness on there. Oh, I just realized today is Halloween as well. So if you're watching this today, happy Halloween. If you're watching it in the future, happy Halloween for the past. So I'm going to turn the attack down a little bit on here. And I'm going to push the level up just slightly, I think. Let's see how that sounds. That sounds okay to me. I'm going to experiment just putting a little bit of a reverb on here, maybe like a plate on there with a super low mix of about 20% and decay of like just to kind of widen it, give it a little bit of depth, but I might take this off because this may be the complete wrong direction to go in. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have this. Pre-delay needs to come down half, that's for sure. And to the high pass probably needs to come down to avoid low end buildup. And then, sorry, for the high pass. And then for the low pass, we probably want that around about 10K. So give us some high end smoothness. See, I don't know if we're gonna have this on there. In fact, I may even turn that off just for the moment and we'll come back to that. That might be a little too ambitious to try and alter the sound for now. So let's compare. Let's go to Equipboard real quick here. I'm trying to hear what effect that is. I thought it was a reverb, but it could just be the, I don't think it's a delay. Could be a phaser. Could be a phaser on there. Let's listen to that. Could be a phaser. Like a really subtle phaser. Yeah, I don't know if I would need a phaser on there. I think the effect I'm hearing is that, what's it called, where you have like the two, you've got the higher one and then the lower string kind of guiding it. The word's escaping me. But like the way those notes, I think that's just I think it's just his guitar. And my playing's very sloppy, so I apologize for that. I think that could be the clean tone. I think maybe we need a little bit more. There's a little subtle delay in there. I think that's what I'm hearing. I think it's a delay. Or it is a reverb. No, I think it is a delay. Like a really, really subtle delay. With a really low delay time. Maybe plate reverb is the wrong one. Maybe it should just be like a room reverb. Maybe 2.8. See, that sounds okay to me. We're going to move on because and we'll circle back to that. But now we're going to go to like the rhythm. Oh my God. Okay. So the solo is like that part like. Ah, it's the thing, okay. So we kind of want the rhythm, and then it's obviously the verse that. We'll work it out, we'll work it out. See, that's half the battle is actually learning to play these damn songs. Okay, so because we're going to be tweaking pretty much all these parameters here, we're going to assign all of these to scenes. So I'm going to do every single one. And we may turn the compressor off for this, but we'll actually see at the end. Okay, so A is our clean tone. So go view, and then we go clean. And for scene B, this is going to be rhythm. Okay. So for this, straight off the bat, we know we're going to need like pretty high gain. Probably keep the treble pretty high. Probably want to put the mid up, I reckon. And we'll leave everything else and kind of. That sounds pretty good. I mean, the guitar playing is questionable, but the overall tone sounds really good. I just think maybe the presence need to come up on that. And I'm gonna wind back the bass just a little bit and maybe put the gain up because it's got a bit of gain. Part go, there goes. And then it's like, and then. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull off the guitar playing obviously one for one here because even though it's not an overly complicated song, it's complicated enough that I'm not gonna play it perfectly. Maybe the compressor needs to come off though. And instead of a compressor, I'm gonna put an overdrive pedal in there. Now what's a tube screamer I think is like, you know, it's the go-to. And we probably want like subtle little bit of drive, and we'll put the tone at 6. I think that sounds okay, tone-wise. Let's kind of compare it. Oh, forgot to assign this.
to read me the last words. Take a look to the birds of the last night. Of a world that is gone pretty right. Read that the son of hell to stop the synaptic terror. Is it really the end and something? Somebody please to be done and dream.
I actually think that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty close. I mean, we don't have the exact equipment and even things like power and stuff like that obviously affect, but I actually think it has a pretty good sort of classic JCM 800 sound about it. The only thing I think this kind of needs is an EQ, and I'm going to put a graphic EQ9 in there. So we want to reduce some of the low end muddiness, but we don't want to go too low. So we're going to drop at the 250 mark by about a decibel. So we're going to hear that, should be able to hear maybe a subtle little difference. God, I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. Now about the 1K mark, I feel like you want to add a little, what's the word? Punch. I'm going to add like a little bit of a kick. That actually sounds really good. So I think this could actually, I don't know if we need EQ for the clean tone. I think this is actually probably just going to be for the rhythm, to be honest with you. Yeah, we don't want that on the clean, just the heavy. I reckon we could probably, just listening to this, around the 4K mark, I reckon we could boost that by a decibel as well. That sounds so good. That sounds really good. And maybe at the 1K mark, we might dip. At the 8K mark, we might dip about a decibel. Kind of prevents too much brightness because we don't want it to be too bright. That sounds really good. We might actually compare that again. But before we do, actually, there's something that's been bothering me here that I feel like I want to try, and that's like a room reverb or something. Sorry, an analog delay, not room reverb. And do this one. I tried to make this work before, but I think a little delay could actually bump the feedback up this time. I think a little delay could actually add some depth to it. For the delay time, we're gonna wind that back to about 400, I reckon. On the low pass, you want to probably put that number up just to smooth the high frequencies in the delay, because we don't want to kind of mess with our sound. And we'll keep the trails on. Yeah, that kind of gives you that that stage feeling where the sound's moving around. Now, the room reverb, that's also bothering me. I don't think it should be room. I'm going to put a hall on there because we're kind of going for that live sound if we're trying to replicate this live tone. So we're going to keep the mix at 35, but I might put the decay up. Keep the pre-delay at 20, keep the high pass at 80, and we might put the low pass up to 10. Don't know if we're going to have trails on. Could turn the trails off for that one, I reckon. That actually sounds pretty good. I'm actually going to keep, we're going to make it so the delay is turned off on the clean. We don't want a delay on there. And on the heavy, we do want this, but I think, sorry, on the clean, we do want this, but I think we want to put down the mix on that because otherwise it's going to be overpowering on our clean tone on there. And for the decay, we also want to assign that to a scene, and we're going to put that down to, I don't know, about the middle mark basically. And I think we'll keep those settings there. Let's just hear the sounds. And then obviously the heavy. We might turn down the whole decay actually. Yeah, okay, let's compare that again. Let's compare it again. I think we've got it. I think we've got the tone here, because if they're playing live, right, there's like, they're kind of, the air's moving around, the sound's a little bit wider, so you can hear for that. It pushes it around and kind of gives that more of a stage feel. So there is a solo in this song. I'm not even going to attempt to tackle it, but let's just hear how it sounds. Okay, so for the solo, it's generally have a bit of a solo tone. So we're going to create a third preset here, and same amp. If we go over here, we can see 84795. We're also going to assign this to a scene. I feel like you want the solo to be a little bit louder, so we're going to make that pop. So go into gig view, I'm going to call this solo. The whole idea with the solo is that it's going to, let me get it. Did that, none of my stuff change there? 84795. I forgot to hit enter. 4, 7, 9, 5, and 5. Okay, so for this, we want to keep the bass at 4. I'm going to keep the mid at 7. Keep the treble at 9. Maybe we're going to drive the master up just a little bit more too. Okay, so we might want to tweak around with these things now. So we do have an analog delay, but I think we're going to kind of keep that there because we kind of want that to basically give us a nice sort of solo-y tone. And then for the reverb, obviously we're going to keep that as it is. I reckon that's probably going to give us a solo tone. I don't know how to play the solo in this, but let's just compare. Pretty good solo tone. I mean, obviously I don't know how to solo, so. I don't know how to play the solo, but I think that's a pretty good solo tone. Obviously, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, so. And then we've got our clean tone on preset A. That's as good as we're going to get it, folks. I kind of started learning how to play that. How's that? And then obviously solo. I just realized something really cool as well. I was like, oh, the compressor should be on for this to kind of normalize out the notes, and it is. So it kind of explains why we get so much sustain. Like, that is insane. Let's like. Sustain on that is amazing. Wow. So let's recap what we got here. We got our clean, which is obviously, oh. And then really cool. And then the solo, as we just have. which is actually similar to the rhythm tone, but we bumped up the master to get it a little bit louder, and we also pushed the output here. We should probably check we're not clipping. Oh, we got a bit of volume there. Dependent on your guitar input as well. Maybe we'll bump that down to like 1.2. Actually modify this to a scene because I can hear on our clean that we want higher volume. That's better. Okay, so we're going to save this preset and we're going to call it Hallowed Be Thy Name. Yep, she fits. Click save. I'm going to upload that to the cloud. I'm going to link it in the description as well, but yeah, I mean, I hope I did it justice. Obviously, it's not going to sound exactly the same, and dependent on pickups, it's dependent on playing. Obviously, I didn't know really how to play the song properly. A lot of improvising, so sorry about that. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. I don't think they would have been doing anything too complicated in their sound. Back, you know, when the song was released, like what, 82? Probably, maybe even earlier. I think it was 82. So yeah, I mean, getting the exact tone is not going to be like a thing that I'm necessarily probably capable of or have the equipment of. We're using digital amp modeling, of course, so using real amps and stuff. And I don't know if I was spot on with kind of the equipment and whatnot, but it sounded good to my ears. So have a play around with it, let me know. And if you enjoyed that video and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing because I try and do these regularly, save for the occasional break. Other Quad Cortex content and music stuff as well. So yeah, and if you have a request for a song you'd like to see me try and tackle next for the Quad Cortex and provide the preset for, just let me know in the comments because I take requests and I'm not genre confined, so it doesn't have to be rock or metal, it could be something pop, doesn't matter. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.